Hello everyone, welcome back to Footy Ratings. The transfer window has finally shut down yesterday, and what a transfer window it's been. I mean, a record of 1.9 billion spent in the Premier League. I mean, it continues to confirm that the Premier League is the best league in the world, and it's really now spread the gap so wide between the other leagues. It's crazy. So today we're going to rank every Premier League's team, their transfer window, who did best, who did horrible, who got the dreaded garbage bag, which is the worst rating possible. So let's get straight into it. Start off with Arsenal. So Arsenal really impressed me this transfer window. Usually, I remember every transfer window, Arsenal suffer to attract players to come to them for some reason. No one really wanted to go, no top players, and they always wait till the last second to buy the good players, and they end up going somewhere else. But this year, it was different. I was really impressed, especially with Gabriel Jesus. I think he will be one of the best signings this summer. Also, Zinchenko has been playing well when he has played. And they also still have Fabio Vieira to make an appearance. He's been injured, but I think when he plays, he will play very well. They also got rid of some players that were causing issues like Lacazette, Guendouzi. So I think regarding Arsenal, we have to give them the amazing wow factor. I think they did really well this transfer window. They impressed me. They impressed a lot of people, I think. And Gabriel Jesus is already really performing at a top level. Next up, we have Aston Villa. So Aston Villa brought in Diego Carlos. They signed Coutinho officially, Kamara, Dendoncker, and Bednarek from Southampton. Now, regarding Aston Villa, they didn't impress me too much. I think they kind of went for outcasts of other teams, besides Coutinho, which is a very good player. But again, they didn't really go for a striker to alleviate the pressure on Oli Watkins and Danny Ings, which I think was needed. They are not consistent enough. And Aston Villa have a really good midfield, but really no great attackers for that midfield to feed into. And because of that, I kind of gave them that mediocre rating. I feel they could have done better. Next up, we have Bournemouth. So Bournemouth already sacked their manager after 4 games, which was a bit of a shock for me. I mean, yes, they lost 9-0 to Liverpool, but then again, it's Liverpool, so, and they're just promoted team. But anyway, they brought in basically 5 players. So Tavernier, Rothwell, Fredericks, Neto, Senesi, and also actually 6 players, Stevens. So they are not bad signings, so to say, but again, they didn't really improve their team. When you get promoted to the Premier League as a new team, you really have to invest and make the team better. Now, regarding the board situation, how the club is at the moment, and these signings, I wasn't really impressed at all. I expected better from them. And that's why they get the first dreaded garbage bag. So I think Bourenmouth didn't do well at all this transfer window. The players they brought in don't really convince me that they're going to help them stay up. And I think they will actually finish last in the Premier League this season. Next up, we have Brentford. So Brentford signed quite a few players. The highlights are Hickey from Bologna for 18 million, Keane Lewis Potter from Hull for 20 million, and some other players from the lower leagues. Again, Brentford didn't really impress me this transfer window. They didn't sign anyone of great stature, to really improve the team. I think they are still over-reliant on Ivan Toney. Mikkel Damsgaard seemed to be a good signing for 16.7 million, but again, he kind of dipped after the great Euros that he had. Because of this, I gave Brentford as well the sort of mediocre rating. I feel they could have done better considering the other teams in the same sort of scenario, how they bought players. I feel Brentford could have brought in better people than they did. Next up, we have Brighton. So Brighton had a strange sort of transfer window. They lost 3 of their starters, so to say. So Marco Corella, Yves Bissouma, and Neil Maupay to Everton. And they replaced them by getting Billy Gilmore on deadline day for 10 million, which was a nice signing. Simon Adinga from Nordsjælland, Julio Enciso from Libertad, and Levi Cole for Chelsea. So they're not really amazing signings, but Brighton do what they usually do, and they unearth talent. But again, I didn't think they improved the team. I think they actually lost some of their best players. So unless those new signings somehow, become jewels and they perform very well, I don't think they bought the right people in this transfer window. Next up, we have Chelsea. So Chelsea, another interesting transfer window. They brought in quite a few players for huge transfer fees. Marco Cucurella for 60 million, Raheem Sterling 47.5, Koulibaly 33, Fofana 75 million, and on deadline day, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang for 10.3 million. So I think that Aubameyang signing really saved them. I think they needed this proven goal scorer, and I think he will help them get quite a few more goals than they are getting at the moment. So I gave Chelsea a thumbs up. I think they did well. They strengthened the team. Besides Koulibaly, who I don't really rate in the Premier League, I think the rest of the signings are generally quite good. Next up, we have Crystal Palace. So Crystal Palace, they got Cheikh Doucouré from Lens for 21 million. That's their sort of marquee signing. And they also managed to keep hold of all their stars, which I was surprised. So they managed to keep hold of Wilfried Zaha, Eberechi Eze, Olise, and they still have Patrick Vieira, which is a great manager. But still, the signings left a lot to be desired, in my opinion, so they kind of get the mediocre rating as well. Next up, we have Everton. So Everton signed Amadou Onana from Lille, 33 million. Connor Cody, which was a really nice signing, I think, from Wolves. Tarkowski from Burnley, Dwight McNeil from Burnley, Neil Maupay from Brighton, and a very good signing, in my opinion, Idrissa Gueye back from Paris Saint-Germain. So that signing on deadline day of Gueye actually made me put up their rating to a thumbs up. I think they needed that solidity in midfield. He was a great player before he left, and I think he will bring that sort of midfield bite that Everton sorely lack. Next up, we have Fulham. So Fulham, they brought in Shane Duffy, Bernd Leno, João Palhinha, Andres Pereira, Issa Diop, Willian on a free, Levin Kurzawa. I think Fulham did absolutely amazing, actually. Kurzawa from Paris Saint-Germain, very nice. Willian, amazing. Andres Pereira as well. And Palhinha has been one of the best signings so far already in the Premier League. And that's why Fulham get the first rating of lit. Absolutely lit transfer market from them. Next up, we have Leeds. Leeds marquee signings were Brendan Aronson from Red Bull Salzburg, Rasmus Christensen, Red Bull Salzburg again, Mark Rocha from Bayern Munich, Luis Sinisterra from Feyenoord. I think they did really well, considering they lost Rafinha to Barcelona and Calvin Phillips to Manchester City and then James on deadline day. I think they replaced them very well. I think that they get a thumbs up from me. I think those signings are going to do well for them. They're already showing great potential in the Premier League. Next up, we have Leicester. So Leicester is a club in decline. Sadly, they signed two players, Alex Smithies from Cardiff on a free and Wout Faes from Reims for 15 million. Now, they avoided the dreaded garbage bag as a rating for one reason only, that they managed to keep Tielemans and Maddison. I think this was very important. And they still get a fail as a rating, but they avoided the trash bag. And I think Leicester will really suffer this season because of it. Next up, we have Liverpool. So obviously they lost Mane to Bayern Munich, but they got Darwin Núñez for Benfica for 85 million, Fabio Carvalho for Fulham, and on deadline day, Arthur Melo from Juventus. I think Liverpool did well in keeping the core intact. Yes, they lost Mane, but I think that Núñez will come good in the end. He will be a good signing, and Fabio Carvalho has already proven that he can come on and make a difference as well. Next up, we have Manchester City. So their marquee signing, obviously, as the whole world knows, is Erling Haaland. He's doing amazing. Already 9 goals in 5 games, which is crazy. I think he might break some records. Also, Calvin Phillips from Leeds and Manuel Akanji on deadline day from Dortmund. Of course, they also lost Raheem Sterling, Chelsea, Gabriel Jesus to Arsenal and Zinchenko to Arsenal as well. But I was impressed by Manchester City because they also sold, not just bought, using all their millions to just buy. They are selling smart as well, and they improved the team. So there's no doubt about that. Guys, as a reminder, if you like the content, please subscribe and like the video. It really helps the channel grow and we can put out more content like this. Thanks. So on to the next team, Manchester United. So Manchester United overpaid on some players, but they managed to get Casemiro, amazing player in his position for 70 million. Christian Eriksen, another good buy. Malacia and Martinez, who've proven to be quite good players so far. And of course, Anthony from Ajax for 100 million, which is a huge fee. Because of those crazy big prices they paid, I gave them just a thumbs up, but it could prove to be a very good transfer window for United. As we are seeing the last few games, they have been very solid at the back and winning games. So, I mean, with the inclusion of Anthony as well, could be a better season for them, but only time will tell. They get a thumbs up from me. Next up, we have Newcastle, another interesting transfer window. Matt Targett from Aston Villa, Nick Pope from Burnley, Sven Botman from Lille, and of course, Alexander Isak from Real Sociedad for 63 million. I was really impressed with Newcastle. I think considering all the money they have, they're not panic buying. They're buying actual players, that they are researching and knowing that they will do well for Newcastle. So Isak was a very good signing, in my opinion. Botman as well. They get a lit rating from me. I think they are taking their time, buying smart, and I think they will have a good season. Next up, we have Nottingham Forest. So if I was to name every player Nottingham Forest bought, probably we'd be here for another hour or so. So they went absolutely crazy this transfer window. Brought in over 20 players, but they really impressed me in who they brought in. Like Renan Lodi from Atletico Madrid. He could play basically for any top team. In my opinion, they got Emmanuel Dennis from Watford, who was wanted by a lot of other teams. Just basically a bunch of players that you would never expect to play from a newly promoted team. Remo Freuler as well for Atalanta. Yes, some of them they might have overpaid and paying big wages like Lingard. But still, in my opinion, this is what a newly promoted team, has to do. They go out, they buy the players that they think will keep them up, and they're actually, having a go at it. And from the games I have seen them play, I feel that they are giving everyone a challenge. So, well done, Nottingham Forest. You get the wow rating. Next up is Southampton. So they got Bella Kotchap from Bochum for 9.5 million. He's really impressed me, the games I've seen him play. Romeo Lavea from Man City, same thing. Looks like a really good buy. Joe Aribo settled in very quickly, playing very well. They really impressed me, Southampton, this transfer window. Again, they did what a team has to do to improve. They went in and improved the team. So they get a lit rating from me. Next up, we have Tottenham. Tottenham also had a decent transfer window. Ivan Perisic from Inter, Yves Bissouma from Brighton, of course Richarlison from Everton, Clement Lenglet, Christian Romero. I think they definitely strengthened the team. I'm not sure about the Richarlison buy. I think he could be a problem in the dressing room. That's why I gave them just a thumbs up, and I think they overpaid for him. But only time will tell how he does this season. Next up, we have West Ham. Now, West Ham was, for me, one of the best teams of the transfer window for sure. Scamacca from Sassuolo, Naif Aguerd from Rennes, who we haven't seen yet because he's been injured, but he's a very good player. They got Areola on a permanent deal. Maxwell Cornet from Burnley, who's one of my top players. I think he played really well for Burnley last season. Thilo Kehrer from PSG, another underrated player. Emerson Palmieri from Chelsea, and the cream of the crop, Lucas Paqueta. I never thought that Paqueta would play for a team like West Ham. So West Ham, again, they get the wow rating from me. They did absolutely amazing. Last but not least, we have Wolves. So Matias Nunes from Sporting Lisbon for a huge fee of about 50 million. Goncalo Guedes for Valencia. Nathan Collins for Burnley. Sasha Kaladzic from Stuttgart. I mean, all on paper look decent signings, but they lost a bunch of their regular players like Conor Cody, Willy Bolly, and their captain Romain Saiz. So for me, it was sort of a mediocre because I'm not sure the players they brought in will replace who has left. Anyway, that's it from me. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like the content, again, remember to subscribe. It's been one hell of a transfer window. Let me know in the comments down below who you think I got right, who you think I got wrong, and what would you like to see as another ranking video coming up. Thanks, guys.